What up, guys? Everybody,
Yup.
we're all back here. Oh, there's Puffery Daddy coming in. Anyway, guys, this is Jody with the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast. First, I'll like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all the crazy nonsense. For everybody that's reached out to me, I'm doing great. At some point in your life, you realize that no matter what, it was never going to be enough. So you have to deal with it and move on. So with all that being said, guys, everybody, welcome to this little world of ours and our little, virtual bar, and let's make this happen. Let's have some fun tonight. What's everybody drinking?
Gino, what about you? What you drinking?
Gino is drinking Penelope's 4-grain barrel strength. This has been sitting back here way too long, had way too much dust on it. The mash bill on this was 70% corn, 4% rye, 21% wheat, and 5% malted barley. The proof on it, 118 even. So it's very nice, very tasty. It has all your traditional bourbon notes to it, the caramel, the vanilla. The rye brings just a tiny, tiny bit of the spices in the back end, but it's very delicious, very approachable.
Nice. Just before coming on the show, I finished off a bottle of Eagle Rare. Now I got me a little bit of Blue Note Juke Joint going on in the cup.
My mom, that's one of her favorite ones. At my condo down in Florida, I always restock it with a bunch of bourbon and stuff like that. Another person having some Blue Note. And so Tweakers or Quickers or whatever it's called. I think I want to call it Tweakers. I actually think it's actually called Quickers. But anyway, they have some fantastic. I do think they ought to change their name to Tweakers because it would help me out a whole lot. Plus, I just dig it. But
they're also in Florida, so.
What's that?
They're also in Florida, so.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, they my mother liked all the bottles I picked up from down there, but the one that she was like, the one I really like this one, it's called Blue Note something another. She was just down there with my financial people with her down there as well, and just having a good old time. And I tell you what, she said the Blue Note was. What's funny is the 1920 Old Forester, she said was too hot, and the Blue Note, the store pick that I know it's quicker, but I'm calling it Tweakers. Tweakers that's a 115, I think, or a 120. So it's a little bit hotter, and it's it just drives me nuts that she was like the 1920s too hot. I'm like, I don't know if that's true, Mom. I don't know what the 1920 is, but I think it's around 80. If over that, it's like a 95 or something like that. It's not pretty hot, But if I'm wrong, I like to be wrong, and I can just look at my mom as being a victor in all of that. What is it?
115.
115. Okay, maybe it is a little hot for her. My mom was right. Maybe it was my Alzheimer's kicking in. Anyway, so Jeff, you're hitting it too. So
yeah, I'm doing an old fashioned made with the Blue Note. This is their uncut, which is what they call their store pick. So this one's actually coming in at 123.6, and I'm keeping it Memphis. If I finish up, I'm going on to the Old Dominick Toddy, which after we do all the introductions, they've got a great little story or some puffery if you want to hear it.
Well, just go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Old Dominick is a distillery in Memphis, Tennessee, that is kind of like the Nelson Brothers story. Great grandkids of the founder discovered that.
Was it in a barn?
No, it wasn't in a barn. It was in a warehouse in downtown Memphis, old Huling Station.
There you go.
And so but yeah, they discovered the family history. Old Dominick had immigrated from Italy to Memphis and started selling wholesale groceries, and then got into originally sourcing bourbon and selling it off of his cart. And then he created a toddy that became pretty popular. But when he died 2-3 days before Prohibition, he'd never written it down. So that recipe was gone. Well, these great sons were cleaning out some old attic stuff and found bottles and stuff from the family's old Dominic, and they found a bottle of the toddy. The story goes it was one of them decided to try it. It was nasty, but then they sent it to a chemist to have it analyzed, and the toddy on the market now is what that chemist determined was in that toddy. So it's about, as they say, as close as what you get to the original. It's actually really good. It's made from their spirit that they distill, and their story as they built it, they did a little old fashioned. They did have MGP distilled from, but it was their master distiller's recipe. It wasn't just going and finding. They had it distilled and aged. They got Alex Castle away from Maker's Mark to build the distillery. She has left them and moved on, but nice little distillery downtown Memphis. If you're ever there, it's worth a visit. Hearing the puffery straight from the source.
You know, I wish I had some family member. Well, I don't have a very. I mean, this isn't how are we gonna put this. This isn't Jody's like a help session or a diocese or something like that. But what I was going to say is that too bad. You know, my family's pretty small. But what's the chances of my family leaving me something like that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd have to put in, I guess, the work myself, but it's just I don't have I mean, like, there's no barns to go search, or, you know, I guess I may, you know, maybe I'll get lucky and do one of those things like, what was the guy that killed all those people and he wore the Bobo the clown suit?
That was the Iceman.
Gacy. John Wayne Gacy. Yeah.
I don't know if he wore it or I know he painted them. Yeah.
He painted clowns. Yeah.
Did he? I don't know if he dressed.
But... No, he did, and he was also he met. Man, this is an interesting little tidbit. I think I've made it clear on this show before, but I fall asleep to some really random nonsense all the time. Most time it's mathematical equations or statistical analysis, and all this stuff is located on YouTube. You can just find it. Just black out the screen and it'll just talk numbers the whole time. And you're like, this. I mean, it's pretty damn awesome. But the other one that I do is like, you know, I wouldn't say trivia, but unique, you know, weird events or whatever. Anyway, by the way, hello, Jennifer.
Hey, Jen.
Jen, what's up?
But John Wayne Gacy actually has a picture taken with LBJ's wife when and he was part of the Democratic Party. Even after he was arrested the first time for sodomizing a teenager.
Sounds right.
I'm just telling you, this is kind of stuff I fall asleep to. Sometimes I hear this. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. By the way, Steven says, awesome sign. So, or he might have been talking to you, Billy. I don't know. He didn't specify.
Hey, they're both pretty awesome. So we'll take them.
There you go. Cheers. And by the way, so I decided to pull one out of, I don't know. I just found it sitting in the back of my upstairs in the whiskey cabinet, and it's an older version of Smoke Wagon Small Batch. This is only, I got my glasses on and everything. It looks like it says 50, that'd be 100 proof, so it's only 100 proof. It's pretty good. I will tell you that, you know, as Gino was talking about all the standard, you know, palate taste that you may acquire in your mouth as you're talking about this, you know, from taking a sip. The thing I find interesting about this one, it has a very upfront pepper and like some type of dried fruit taste. Now, if I was going to guess, I would say something around maybe a plum or a pear. You know, it has a little bit of a bitter taste to it, right? But it does not finish off vanilla, but it does have hints of caramel, and then it'll have a little bit of toffee, I guess, taste towards the end on the finish. That's just my opinion on it. But I mean, does it have some of the other, like the char and all that? Yeah, of course. But that's what when you were telling about the notes earlier, I was like, that's some of the things I got different off of that I find pretty interesting. So anyway, we've all told our stuff about that. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about on the show first, and then we will probably sidetrack into 1,000 different things like we always do.
No, we never do.
No, that's never happened. Never happened. So first of all, this coming weekend, I think it's Memorial Day on Monday. So if you guys in this area might be, my pool looks fantastic right now. It's looking so much better. So if anybody that's close by, we could come to the pool and swim and smoke and drink whiskey.
And I'm sorry to interrupt if you don't mind. Also, I want to remind everybody, Memorial Day is not the start of grilling season or barbecue season. It is the day that we take to honor the servicemen and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So let's not forget that part. So go ahead, Jody. Sorry about that.
No worries. What I was going to say is that that's not a bad choice either, since I think she's at work is what she's always told us. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know this week's Memorial Day. And so I was thinking about things that we could talk about. And like, first of all, has there been any, spring spirits that you've had and you're like, this has been pretty good? And then from that, and the reason why I put spirits is that I noticed the other day, I was talking to one of my buddies and we were on FaceTime and they were drinking a mixed cocktail, right? And some people, that's what they prefer during this time of year is a mixed cocktail, right? And so I was thinking about that and I was like, I'll always drink mine, except for I love Manhattans made with bourbon. But outside of that, I generally, by the way, best Manhattan, in my opinion, is right down here in Columbia, Tennessee, at American Barrel, one of my tenants, and they not to plug them or anything, but anyway, they have fantastic chocolate Manhattans. I mean, fantastic.
Chocolate Manhattan.
Yeah. Oh
That's
my
an
God.
interesting combination there.
What is it? Just they use chocolate bitters, or do they do something else with it?
I don't want to tell you because it is actually in the sauce how he does it. Because I asked all these same questions that you are. I would rather I'll talk to Nathan and see if I can get him back on the show another time and let him make one for us if he wants to. He may not want to give up the secret, but he's
by the
solid
way,
dude.
Jen, a little pro tip to help you out there: go to the store, buy one of those Irish cream,
Baileys.
Coffee creamers. Take it home, pour it out, fill it up with Baileys, take it to work. They'll never know. Stick with me for more questionable advice.
This would be a true statement. You, but that's. It kind of takes us into the second part of this because I do want to talk about a little bit of food talk because Billy's got a huge thing going on down there. But
man,
real quick on, I just want to kind of piggyback off of. So I do want to talk about spring drinks. And has there been anything that you pulled out and you said, man, this is pretty good? I've had a couple of, by the way, a little old fashioned said, cheers to gin and stuff. But anyway, I've had some fantastic store picks. Most of them came from, not gonna lie, most of them came from vintage, but I've had some really good ones, right? What's up? I'm trying to keep up with all this at the same time. Normally I have Dave over here taking care of all this stuff as I'm doing it. That'd be the one time I put out there I miss him. But anyway, so I mean I've had some really good store picks, but if I had to go like off the top of which ones that have been probably the best in my opinion. The one actually that's been better than that was that I forget the name of Moldova or something like that. That's Nelson Brothers. It's the one that has I showed it on the show before, but I think it's Moldova. It's type of not sherry, but brandy.
Mm.
And but anyway, it's a bourbon. That's probably been my favorite. That the store pick of what's it called? Colonel T single barrel from vintage up there. The store pick I got from Tarek rare character was yummy as everything. Let me see what else. And then probably outside of that, I mean, I can drink that chocolate Manhattan anytime, literally. Here's the other thing too. He makes it with rye, and I don't like rye. And I'm gonna tell you what, I will tell you that. There you go. Thank you, Chuck.
Chuck, why aren't you
They're,
on here? Not
we-
supposed to be in the chat.
He doesn't like to associate with us anymore, I guess. I don't know.
I-
We're bad for his image.
Yeah. So those would probably be the ones right there that I would put at the top of my list. Now I will tell you that again, there's some good store picks throughout a lot of different places. But yeah. But anyway, what about you there, Gino?
The store pick that I'm enjoying right now is from over at McHenry Beverage Shop, and it is actually their pick of Maker's Mark. And I like Makers. I like to use Makers to mix things with, to make bourbon slushies with, and do this and that and this and that.
Bourbon slushy.
But
I have not had that. So tell me.
I'll have to send you the recipe.
Please do. If you could put it in the VIP chat, and therefore, if anybody's not a part of the VIP chat, they could reach out to any of the people in here except for
there
me,
it is.
and they will put you in the VIP chat.
Bourbon slushies are a great summertime drink, and I will
that does. It sounds
recipe in the
fantastic.
chat.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
But yeah, that's normally what I use Makers for. But this I'm really enjoying. Now I like the heart release that came out from Makers. That was very enjoyable. This is, in my opinion, a little
I
bit.
have a bottle of that, the heart release.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't opened it yet, so I do have
It's
one.
a little bit more robust, in my opinion. If I remember, it's right around about the same proof point, but very delicious. They did an excellent job with their pick on that. But as far as mixing and doing those things anymore nowadays, other than the bourbon slushies, which is coming up on bourbon slushy season, really for me, it's just old fashions. And I'll do the different things for the different bitters to make, the different. I have not done the chocolate one, but now that you mention,
Yeah, Aztec.
it's like that's a no-brainer
chocolate
because
bitters.
chocolate goes great with whiskey.
Yeah, the Fee Brothers
Thank you.
Aztec chocolate is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, so that's.
Well, I'm
gonna
sure you're
go-
coming down here in June for the tasting at my place, right, Jeff?
Oh. Yeah, it depends on what. Are you doing the NBB?
Yeah.
It'll depend on the date because there's a couple weekends I'm out of town.
Yes, it's kind of the same for me as well. I'm out of town the second week of June, so I'm hoping he doesn't have me on that time, because if he does, we'll have to reschedule.
Oh no, you set the date.
Oh,
You
okay.
tell Jay what day you can do.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, if I'm in town, I'll be down there.
Yeah, we always have a blast.
Oh yeah.
Let me know when, but I do have vacation first part of June.
I thought you were retired.
Go on vacation with the wife and the grandkids.
Oh, okay.
We take them down for a week and go on a scenic railroad ride and all the good happy
Ooh.
shit.
Where?
But my wife is Cass Scenic Railroad in West Virginia.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that.
It is awesome.
There's one I want to
to.
do here in Tennessee. That's it's a bourbon. I think it's Tennessee. It might be Kentucky, but it's a bourbon train ride, and it's just
Nice.
it might be a bourbon dinner train ride. It might.
Yeah,
be.
it is. It's out of Lexington. RJ Corman runs it.
Yeah.
But
I've always wanted to do that.
we'll be doing that on the 12th. Now, my wife is retiring now from teaching. Her last day is the 9th. So
Congratulations.
beyond that, let me know. It's just a drive down the road.
It's a long drive, but yeah, it is.
It
I
is
got
what
plenty
it
of
is.
room.
It's a fun drive
It is a fun drive.
It's all good.
through some beautiful country.
Yep. What about you there, Billy?
So
There,
for
got my
me,
listening numbers up.
well, so when I'm lighting up the smokers early in the morning, believe it or not, what I like to do is I like to start my day out with a beer. I loathe coffee. I grew up with it in the house all my life, but I cannot stand the stuff. I like to start the day out with a good beer. Lunchtime, I would say I like to do mojitos, which is the official drink of Miami. So you get yourself some nice high-end tequila. It works out well for you.
I've never had a mojito.
Yeah, mojitos are fabulous. I can honestly say I'm a mojito fiend for sure.
Really well done is amazing.
Yeah, like you can do different flavors. You can do mango. You can do like blueberry. You can do all kinds of stuff. So it's really, really nice. And then I like to round my evening out with a great cigar and a bourbon. So I don't do a lot of mixed drinks. Um, Mixed drinks down here, and if you're doing them at home, it's nice.
But isn't a
Uh,
mojito, isn't that a mixed drink?
it's a
Yep.
mixed drink, but I mean like your uh, like your bourbon mixed drinks.
Mhm.
They do it here in South Florida, but they like to get too fancy with it. I like my bourbon simple. You know, we're not mixologists here. We just pour drinks. I'll be perfectly honest with you, um, and that's because we are huge tourist spots. So for us, we're not so much focused on making a well-made drink. We're more focused on just getting you drunk. So
Firing for effect.
And
what do they call
really-
it? Fort Lickerdale. So yeah, that's what it's really all about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it-
mojitos are really, really nice. Daiquiris here are nice, especially during this time of year. You're getting into the warmer time of year, so daiquiris are number one with a bullet. Mojitos are a close second. Uh, we do big brunches here, so of course your brunch drinks go over really well, stuff like that. Um, so in other news,
Well,
those
hold on
who
a second
do,
before we get to there.
okay.
Let's go to Jeff over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to kind of go off. I agree with you on cocktails. The vast majority of bars, they're not worth it. It's
No.
like you get more complex flavors out of just a great bourbon. If you're getting to a craft cocktail bar, however, the flavors that they create by mixing the spirits with the different bitters and juices and stuff can be amazing. But you've got to go somewhere. I mean, it's like the difference of going to your average lunch spot versus going sitting down at a restaurant where there's an actual chef creating meals.
Mark Hill sent me a thing that was really kind of neat. He from Instagram. It was a little short on Instagram of this bar where they were making these smoked drinks, like
Yeah.
a smoked old fashioned, but the smoke was infused into either the bitters or the simple syrup. I don't remember which.
Oh, it has to be infused into the bitters because the bitters would.
I will have to find that. I'll share that in the VIP. So if you guys aren't members of the VIP, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
But
And you know, so like my wife and I are really like the whole tiki cocktail, and when you get to a really good tiki bar, the complexity of those drinks, and they're mixing a lot of fruits togethers and different rum drinks, but there's a few that even incorporate bourbon into them that are really great. It's like it's amazing when you get that, but at home, I'm kind of either straight bourbon rye, or old fashions. Sometimes Manhattans. I do like to make martinis a few times. A true daiquiri, which is basically just rum, lime, and a little bit of simple syrup. Great like that, but yeah, usually it's going to be bourbon. You talked about favorite store picks. One of the ones that I still remember 5 years later and wish I could get was Fairview. This has been probably back 2019. He got 3 different barrels of Knob Creek 120.
Mm-hmm.
They were all 15 to 16-year-old barrels.
Oh,
they
wow.
were phenomenal. This is back when before Knob Creek realized that they could keep all the 15 plus barrels and sell it for a crap ton extra money.
Yeah.
But
Well, so let's tie it up on that portion. So we actually made it relatively good, well through the first portion of our show here by not getting too sidetracked. However, I do want to ask, because I did put in there the emphasis that maybe there might be some food talk. Because you said it's not the grilling season. I agree with you. I grill year round too, or I'm always cooking year round and things of that nature. And I still need now. I now have time to go out to fly out to Miami, so I'll make a plan to get down there soon.
Nice.
And spend a week down there and practice some more culinary skills down there with you. But tell us any exciting news it might be about Cafe 305.
Okay, so here I live in Dade County, and the next county north of me is Broward County. And the way it works with the beautiful citizens of South Florida, I love so much. If you live in Dade County, you don't want to go to Broward County. And if you live in Broward County, you don't want to go to Dade County. So my rabbit ass mind decided to some way come up with a secondary kind of a satellite location. Well, rent in South Florida period is very, very, very expensive. Retail space, especially, with the restaurant business. So I wanted to come up with something that can be really kind of rustic and where it's a little bit more controlled and don't have to be so confined by four walls, if you will. So I found this really nice piece of property. It's about 3 acres. The gentleman who owns the property, he and I became really good friends. He actually produced local honey, and I use his honey in the production of my barbecue sauces. So, of course, we were sitting around probably having one too many beers one night, and we decided that we're going to come up with a spot on his property. So I purchased a 40-foot shipping container, and I'll try to keep this short. Shipping containers are very strong. They're very resourceful. They could be used for a number of things. And if bought in the right condition, the right place, they're not very expensive at all. I got what's called a one-trip container, meaning it's only been on the boat once. Didn't contain any harmful or hazardous materials. I took this container, set it up on some pilings, and we're going to convert this 40-foot shipping container into a cafe kitchen, so to speak. The smokers are going to sit outside. It's only going to be basically to go. It's going to be like our satellite location. Also, on this same property, we're going to open a butcher shop because we do actually have cattle on site. So if you want, let's say, a half a cow, you'll literally be able to go out in the field, pick the steer that you want, and you'll come back in, 10 to 12 days and we'll have them all wrapped up for you.
Kinda
So
like
we
those
started
big
this.
old strawberry places.
It's called Southwest Ranches, and it's on what's called Dykes Road. And the gentleman who and I became friends, his name is Dykes. So his family.
Haven't heard Dykes in a long time. I was wanting to chuckle and all that. I got a lot of
I'm
jokes.
chuckling.
He gives it. I give him so much hell. But
does he spell it like Dykes?
Yeah.
Oh
Just
my
like
God!
that.
I would show up there with my best,
Those
like my
are
best
alternative
white person,
lifestyle
but
flyers.
yeah, what I'm talking about, like where I might look like a butch chick, and it gets some like fake hair with that's sticking up like this and a bandana on it, and I can ride a motorcycle. I had one my entire life.
No. You'd have to borrow somebody's Subaru.
Yeah, I agree with you because that's funny. I bring that up in my marketing class all the time about segmentation, and I'm like, like for example, if you were trying to get one segmented group, and I start with Nike and I work them all the way back, and I'm like, so when you think about Subaru, specifically the Outback, who do you think of? And they all say, like, I don't know, people that like to hike and hunt and maybe, I don't know, go out in their dog and all that. I'm like, dog is very important. They're definitely catering to them. But I would encourage you to go to I was best man in a lesbian wedding. All right. I had my giant Ford Explorer that was there. And there was no other car except for Priuses and Subaru Outbacks parked all around it in this entire parking lot. That's all I'm saying.
So anyway, his family was the first family to live on this road. This is when this small town was all cow pastures. So the road he lives on is called Dykes as well. Let me see if I can get
There's
this
a bunch of
right
dykes
way.
down there.
Yep.
So
Oh, there we go.
that white boy up there, that's my boy Josh Dykes.
Ah,
So
cool.
he and I, we got the container all set up, and we cut out the concession windows. We did that yesterday, and we're gonna keep hammering down on it. So
Cool.
you can see it has 3 windows in it. Also, from this satellite location, we're going to sell his local honey, and another guy who's from Greece, we're going to sell his olive oil. So, of course, we're going to be
Nice.
open Wednesday through Sunday. We're going to have all the good stuff. We're going to have brisket. We're going to have ribs. We're going to have pulled pork. We're going to do whole hog cooking once a month. I got some nice cookers coming for that. To my knowledge, there's only one other person in South Florida that does whole hog cooking. So that's going to be fun.
When am I going to see you on diners, drive-ins, and dives?
This
Yeah.
one you might. And here's the fun thing. You can now, as a barbecue joint, whether you a full restaurant or something like what I'm doing, you can now accomplish a Michelin star.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Well, I
it's-
had
it's
listened to
moving.
him. I had today. What's the name? Fieri. Is it Jay? Is that right?
Guy.
Yeah, Guy.
Guy Fieri. Thank you. I don't know how I missed that. But anyway, he was. I listened to the podcast with him and Joe Rogan today, and what's funny is Joe Rogan and Jamie, they always pull up videos and stuff like that. They found his intro video into something that he didn't even want to try out for, and it was hilarious. But it was good. It was actually really good. So if you get it, if those of you guys out there, it might be not just urban connoisseurs, but amateur cookers like myself, you might want to listen to it. It is a lot
That'd be
of fun.
fun.
To listen to.
So if you guys allow me a couple of seconds,
Sure.
this is, if you can see it there, that is the whole hog cooker.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
So just give it a second. It's got some nice little tricks to it. So one of the big things about whole hog cooking, you only cook it over hot coals. You're looking at about a 15-hour process, depending on the size, and the
That's
top
cool.
of it flips as well.
That's cool. Did I ever tell you about my time cooking a pig?
No, tell me.
All right, so you can take that down now.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to need their undivided attention.
Yeah.
So mostly me. But anyway, so a couple of years ago, back when I first got Chief in Winston, this is before I had to pull it in and stuff. My backyard was fenced and all that. Anyway, I'm getting in the shower. It's middle of the day. I just finished working out, and now I'm taking a shower. And I had my dogs out back. They were just running around acting like two jackasses. And anybody that's ever been around them, and you know who you are, I'm telling the truth. All right. Anyway, so they're out there just running around doing whatever. I'm in the shower, and it sounds like I hear them in a straight up street fight out back. And Billy, you've been to my house, and so has
Yes.
Jeff. I live out in the country. All right. And so I get out of the shower, and I look out the window. There's this fucking pig trying to go under my fence to get to the 2 little dogs. And so I put a hold on a second.
There it is.
So
No, the
anyway,
jackasses are two different animals he has.
yeah, in the front yard. I'm just playing, but anyway, so I look, I'm like, come on, guys, damn it, I can't even take a shower. So I put a towel around me, and I run over to the back door, and I'm like, guys, get in there, come on. And so both of them just turn around like, fuck you, Dad, we got a pig, we're gonna fight it, And so I'm like, son of a bitch. So I just walk downstairs to my safe, and I get my 45 1911 ACP. I'm ready to go. Now, the only thing that's different in this is I walk over to the back door before I head out, and I put my flip-flops on, or thongs, however you call it. That's what we call it on the West Coast. But
It's
anyway,
an important thing that you had flip-flops on with your towel.
right.
Yeah.
So you caught on. I still haven't.
Underdressed when you went outside.
Right. So thank God that I do live in the country. That's first. Second, thank God that nobody was out there with their cameras recording this shit. I go out there and I'm like,
Or he
oh my God.
hopes.
Well, I mean, I've never seen a video of it. Anyway, so there's this giant fucking pig, and it's so it's we got a lot of feral pigs and stuff that run around here and all that, and you have to shoot them. That's just what it is. Anyway, he's trying to get my dogs, and of course my dogs are like, "We're in it, Dad. We're gonna kill pig," And anyway, I'm like, I just want to take a shower, so I'm thinking, you know what I'll do? I'll just scare the pig. I mean, I'll just shoot the pig. I'll shoot at the pig, but to its right shoulder, my left. So I line up on it, send a round down range, and the pig doesn't run off. Instead, it runs right at me. I'm like, oh, fuck this. And so I'm standing out there, and I just have a towel and flip-flops. I don't even know if I have my other flip-flops still on now because I kind of retreated a little bit. All right. And I shot that pig. I swear to Christ, is everything holy, less than 2 feet from me. Shot it in the face. It stopped. I stopped. My 1911's got a little smoke coming off of it. He's got a little smoke coming off of him. And then he runs off. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're telling me this fucking pig.
So what you're saying is when you come over, there's no bacon?
Now let me finish. I trust me, this is all good. So it's kind of a going thing that we have pigs around here that run around and stuff. So Sydney, my neighbor, and he's all types of killing everything, right? He's like, so I call him up. I'll call him from drill. I'm like, dude, I just don't get this, man. How did you kill that pig? I shot this damn pig with a freaking ACP straight in the face. He goes, well, they have these hard skulls. I'm like, look, I'm from Southern California. I don't know anything. All right. I just know if I shot any other living animal on earth in the fucking face, it's going to die. All right. This one didn't. With an ACP for sure. Right. Anyway, so he goes, well, I shot him with this thing called, I just shot him with my 5.56, but I had hog busters in there. I'm like, what's a hog buster? And he told me about it. So I went down and bought some, and it's just a type of round. And so for like the next 2 weeks, I had in my office upstairs, I had my AR-15, my 1911, and my 12 gauge loaded with slugs in my office 24 hours a day. Because I'm waiting on this fucking pig. All right, so I'm sitting there. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to a student, and it just comes right, like it stops my window up my office. I'm like, so I tell the student, I'm like, look, we're having bad connection. I'm going to call you back in a few minutes. All right, a few minutes turned in 4.5 hours. But anyway, so I walked out. I took my AR with the hog busters rounds in there, and I lined up on it. Boom, one shot, it dropped, and then I was like, man, this is gonna be awesome. What am I going to do now? And so I'm like, fuck, I'm going to eat it. All right. That's what I'm thinking. So, and the only time I've ever cooked or seen a hog cooked is when I lived in Hawaii. So I'm thinking, I'm going to do it just like the Hawaiians. I get in the backyard. I dig this giant fucking hole. All right. I get the best fire going in there and all these coals and stuff. I wrapped, the hardest part was skinning the damn, not skinning, but taking out all the organs and everything of this fucking pig. I didn't have all the nice cutlery that I have now, right? And so it's a complete pain in the ass, but I did get it all done. And then I wrapped that damn pig up I used so much aluminum foil that I had to go to the Dollar General to get some more. All right. It looked like a giant baked potato. All right. I got like a 145-pound baked potato. I put that something so its coals are really good and hot. I put that thing in there, put dirt on it, and then burn a fire on top of it. Then it rained for 4 straight days.
Oh shit.
And so I dug it up to get the temperature on it, and I was like, nah, I'm not eating it. I don't want worms. But there you go. That's my hog story.
So but the question we all have, Jody, is did you go to the Dollar General on the southeast corner of the intersection or the northwest corner of the intersection? Which Dollar General did you go to?
And then there would be a Dollar Tree somewhere in there too, or Dollar Family or something. But so out in the country, we only have the one that's like 2.5, 3 miles from my house. We have that one, and then if you go up the road a little bit, when I say a little bit, less than 2 miles, we have we have a Dollar General Market. And by the way, it's freaking awesome too. It really is. I like it. For
those of you not in Tennessee who think he's exaggerating, no, he is not.
Nope. We have the same up here, except we don't have any of the markets yet. But I see
the market's pretty good because they carry they'll have stuff like some fresh produce sometimes, and it looks really fresh, and it may not be, but it looks it. They have some good meat standards that are there, and it's just a nicer, bigger place. I mean, I'm sure give it about 7 months. It's only been there, 2 months.
Yeah,
It'll look like every other Dollar General, I'm sure.
they're
but-
building one over.
So
in Maryland.
listen, I
Combined.
don't have any Dollar General stories, but
Oh, you're
something
missing-
that just
Just wait.
came back
They're
to
coming.
mind. I went up to visit Jody, and one morning we went out to eat breakfast. Jody, what was the name of this place we went to?
Oh, you're talking. Oh, that place was awesome. That place is not there anymore, though. You talking about Puckett's or
Buckets. Yeah, I
Buck-
think no,
or is it
not
Marcy Joe's
Marcy Joe's. I think was the ones we went to
to get the
when
honey
it was-
buns?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Marcy
Yeah.
Joe's. It's gone now, but
it's gone now. So
So there's
I mean-
Puckett's.
Puckets
Yeah.
we went to in the morning.
Well, you just said breakfast.
Yeah, but we went to the little white building that was on the corner. Looked like a
Oh,
house.
that's Marcy Joe's
Okay, so
with
listen.
the floor all on fucking.
Yeah. So listen, here's guys. And listen, the breakfast was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
But let me tell you. So the way the place is,
It was so beautiful, and it has
it's
such
a-
a great story too.
it's a little place. If it sat 30 people, I would be surprised.
No, if it's at 15 people, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So they have me and Jody sitting right up on stage. Is what it looks like.
And we like that's right, and we look like a gay couple because
We look like the
Big Spoon and Little Spoon. I forgot about that.
And listen, the whole restaurant can see us.
And there ain't no other people that look like us in there.
There ain't no other people that look like me.
I know, but since we were potentially in a partnership,
But the food was phenomenal. But I'll never forget. I kid you not. I felt like the only black guy for 10 miles around.
that was probably true.
So Jody, you mentioned something about them having some puffery. Do tell.
Oh no, it's not. It's actually not puffery. I forget her name. It's Rory and Joe. I think that's her name. I wish I could remember their last name. Yeah, her name is definitely Joe because Rory and Joe. Anyway, they're country artists. Anyway, back she opened up that store with her sister and someone else, and then it went into like they were in 3 different places to include one in Spring Hill, which is right up the road if you're familiar with this area. But they all closed down within the last year or so. I think COVID really put the hampers on them. It kind of slowed them down a ton. But anyway, Joe they had a child. Her and Rory had a child, and then she ended up getting. I think she got like breast cancer. I'm more than 100% positive of breast cancer. But anyway, she ended up dying
Shit.
right away. Like it didn't last long, and then he's still a country artist, and he's been raising their little. I mean, she died. Their daughter was 3, I think, when she died. And so anyway, they kept the store open and all that. And then he has the family property up the road from that place that you went to. And that's to kind of bring it around. He let one of my friends, I think I've talked about it before on here, but Laurel, when she passed away of cancer 2 years ago, he got all of them. He gave them the venue to do this celebration of life and stuff. And it was really cool, But anyway, so it's not really puffery. That place has been there, and it was a business before. I guess the puffery part of it would come that a lot of people have played there, but I don't know how many people are good.
Puffery is not necessarily
untrue. I know.
Untrue. It's just the story that's told about a place
Yeah.
or a product or something.
Yes.
Elaboration.
And listen, I can tell you guys this: if those walls could talk, it probably could write 4 or 5 good albums by itself, because there was nothing done to this building.
Not hip hop albums.
Not hip hop, but I'm just saying in general, it was a lot of history
Hey,
behind the
country
building.
can do hip hop now.
That's what Beyonce says. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
But
And-
no, you
and-
could see the history on this building. Like they didn't try to sugarcoat it or remodel it. It was just, you can tell the history was what it was. It stood
Yep.
there for a long time.
And to follow all that up with a big old F cancer.
There
Yeah,
you
of
go.
course.
There it is.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, yes. It's too many people. Yes, there's too many good people.
Yeah.
That have lost people because of that. I mean, I don't know if I consider myself good people, but I, my dad, even though he died of dementia, he had what caused it was the squamous cell carcinoma, and then the type of treatment. So a lot of people die of cancer, and it sucks, and we all know that person, or someone that's battling with it, and things of that nature. So it sucks. And of course, our former president, which I said nothing but I don't wish anybody death on anybody or anything like that.
No.
So whether you guys all know I am definitely not a Democrat, I would never wish harm on anyone. Period. So I do pray for his family, and I hope that if he is at the end of it, that it's more comfortable than not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at things.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can stand with even people that don't like me, so it can happen. So I can do it.
Right.
So,
But anyway, so we made it through a lot of shenanigans. I only told one story. So let me see. I mean, what's what I love about this bar atmosphere, is that it's just sitting around talking about random nonsense with your friends and from all over. I mean, like 2 of us right tonight are from Tennessee. What do you say? Hold on a second. 2 of us from Tennessee, and
A damn joke.
Sorry about that, Chuck.
Oh man, Chuck. Sorry to hear that, bud.
And kind of got me off my game there. But no, we all know somebody, so it really just
and we're
is what
from
it is.
everywhere.
And in
You guys are Tennessee. I'm in West Virginia. We got Billy down there.
That's what I was going to say. We're hanging out at the bar, and we're from all over the place. And what's really cool is when we have a really big show and it has Mal on here, or if we have Mark on here or Chuck or whomever. Anybody that's on here, we generally have people from all over the place, which we still represent a larger portion of the United States right now, just in this podcast because
we used to have England represented here.
No, he still comes. He's just been real busy at work.
Yeah,
he's been busy. Yep.
And I think he's worried that we're going to get him in trouble since they have they don't have like a First Amendment there. So
that's true too. Yep.
I can't say God save the Queen anymore. I can say God save the King. Matter of fact, it'll be a king the rest of my lifetime. I can assure you of that. So
yeah, for sure.
So
yep. But yeah, I miss Mel. Mel is good people.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's
Kara.
Cost too much.
That was pretty good.
Too much to have Mel on.
Yeah, but Stephen, they've got the thought police going hard over there in Great Britain right now.
No, I'm sure he knows that. He was just saying what he said because that's what he says. That's who Stephen is.
Oh, okay. I don't know Stephen. It's all good.
So, guys, who do we like for the finals, and who do we like for win it all in hockey this year?
Well, since my number 2 team, my number 2 team has always been the Oilers. I would love to see the Oilers take it all.
Edmonton.
I mean, you have the best first line in all of hockey. I mean, it's just facts.
Okay.
Probably in the last 10 years. I mean, that is a strong. You got Draisaitl and freaking McDavid. Come on.
It's arguable, yeah.
So and not only that, you get your defense with what's his name? Played for the Preds. Yeah, man. But what's his name? Ekholm. That was the other one. And then I forget who the other defensive man is, but anyway, so that's who I'm pulling for, I guess, the rest of the way through is Edmonton. Since the Leafs are out, and I know the Leafs were taken out by your team, I just wanted to see the Leafs. I mean, dude, the Leafs have become – the Leafs are worse than San Diego Chargers San Diego Chargers just left the fucking city altogether. I said, fuck you. Don't want to be there. All right?
Yep.
Same with the Padres. Padres are still there because they got a great-ass stadium and fans, but – and they are in first place. But my point being is that when you look at the sports that are out there and where we're at on this, I think the bigger thing is, well, you know what? I'm just going to say I'm going to go with Edmonton, and we'll talk about the rest of it later.
Okay. I like Florida, of course. I mean,
all I was saying is the fucking Leafs have lost, and they've essentially been the freaking Red Sox from 2004 when they won the World Series.
Yeah, but
that's all I was saying.
You can't underestimate anybody because that went all the way to a Game 7
in the first round.
Yeah, and it started off rough because
no, I mean the hockey game went to 7. I was talking about the first round of when the Red Sox won the World Series after 86-year drought. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, you know, they pushed it all the way to a 7-game series, and Florida was down 2-0, and we came home and took 2. We went back over there and took 1. You know, so hey, listen, it was a tough pull, and I think we got the Hurricanes next.
I can tell you. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I think we got the Hurricanes next. So it's going to be – I just don't want us to run out of steam in the finals. That's the only thing I'm worried about if you keep getting pushed to a Game 7.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, though.
Yeah, so this is the semis. So you have Dallas versus Edmonton. They're they're not playing yet, and then you have Florida versus Carolina.
Yeah.
And Carolina took the Capitals in 4-1. So,
yeah, so it's still going to be an interesting season. So we'll see what happens.
RJ the Fed.
Well, I'm still in.
That's a great name, RJ the Fed. That was so good.
Okay.
I'm still an old school Tennessean that still has a hard time believing that anybody in the South plays hockey.
Why?
People in Arizona. I mean, one of the greatest hockey players of all time right now, Austin Matthews, is from Scottsdale, Arizona.
I still, it still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because until the late 1990s, early 2000s, nobody in Tennessee knew what hockey was.
Yeah.
But
it came here in 1998. Well, technically they were bought over at 1997. First year, the inaugural year was 1998.
Well, I worked downtown back when they started up, and you could tell that every hockey fan at that time was displaced Detroit auto workers, because anytime the Red Wings were playing in town,
that's true.
Any jersey other than Red Wings.
That is a very true statement, because I remember going. So when I used to get, before I was a ticket holder, I would always go and just try to find them on Craigslist. That's how long ago I was watching hockey. So, and I would go down there, or because I was a police officer at the time, I could I sometimes finagle some deals and stuff like that to get that. And I would just go, and then I was dating this girl that was a nurse one time, and her doctor let us have front row seats. And then me and Preston went a few times and all this. But anyway, so I've been following hockey for a long time. Or when I say a long time, I mean, I was a novice for a long time until, and I'll be transparent here, 2017, I bought the signed helmet of all of them on a goalie mask. I mean, I turned into the biggest homer you will ever see in your life. Like, that is my team and everything about it, right? And it still is. But with that being said, I think Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are the two greatest players of our generation that we're seeing together on the same team right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to be a Predators fan because they're a customer, and they are a really great customer. So go Preds, even though they're not there.
And it's funny because when the Panthers first came to South Florida, their home was actually in Miami. Now they're in Fort Lauderdale. And the Panthers used to play in the old Miami Arena where the Miami Heat basketball team used to play at before they moved directly across the street to which is the Kaseya Center now, but it was the AAA Center at one point. So when hockey hit South Florida, it was actually taken very, very well. It came in very strong. And I don't remember if it was the first or the second year, we made it all the way to the finals. And then it took us 30 years to get all the way back and win it all. But
y'all won it back to back too.
Yeah.
Y'all are going for the first three-peat in a long time.
Hockey has been, and that's the other interesting thing about South Florida. We, from Fort Lauderdale to downtown Miami, every major sport is representative, even Formula One, NASCAR, football, baseball, hockey. We got the U.S. Open. I mean, we have every sport, and now everybody has their own home. So the Dolphins have their own stadium, the Marlins have their own stadium, the Heat have their own stadium, the Panthers have their own stadium, and they're currently building the soccer stadium for Inter Miami. That's literally, if you had a good enough arm from where they're located, you could throw a football and hit Miami International Airport. If you got a good throwing arm, you can hit it. That's how close it is.
So like right down the street from campus where I'm at is the Nashville Soccer League team. I don't know anything about that, and I don't really have anything against soccer. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. I really don't. I just can't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the Nashville Soccer Club or whatever is located, and let me tell you what, that is a beautiful stadium though. That is a state-of-the-art stadium.
Where do you teach?
Belmont.
Oh, okay.
I would prefer us not to talk about that here.
Sorry. For some reason, I thought you taught down in Columbia.
I do some adjuncting there too.
So South Florida is a very different animal.
Well, sorry, you could have said Belmont or Trevecca, and nobody would have known.
That's where I got my doctorate. That's where my doctorate was Trevecca. So don't hold that either against me.
To answer Jonathan's question, the Miami Hurricanes have their own stadium down on their campus.
They do. That is true. They do have their own stadium there.
And
they don't play there all the time. What they do is they're contracted for 3 or 4, 5 games or something like that at the Dolphin Stadium.
At the Dolphin Stadium, yes.
And that's what it is.
Yeah,
dude, you need to stop that. I'm being serious, man.
And what used to be a phenomenal stadium, it just was too small. The Hurricanes used to play at what was the Orange Bowl. It was a very unique stadium. They tore it down, and it is now the home of the Miami Marlins baseball team, where the stadium actually have a convertible roof.
That's what they're building here in Tennessee is a $5 billion project. And of course, everybody here argues about, well, it's going to make our taxes go up. I'm like, you guys are a bunch of dumbasses, but that's what you think, because it's not how they do business. That's not how it works. But I can explain that real quick. So make it fast for you. So what it is in this city's best interest to have majority control. So the football team puts it a little bit less. And the reason why is because you can issue a bunch of revenue bonds. Revenue bonds mean what? They pay for it with the revenue that comes from the fucking stadium. You notice what I didn't say? Fucking taxes. All right. That's how that works.
Yep.
But I want to show you something that does cost money. Let's say your local, counselor or whatever says, I think we need a new school. You know how they pay for that? General obligation bonds. That means they pay for it via taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So when you guys make these stupid stories, just realize there's other people that can probably explain this to you better.
The surprising thing to me is under this new deal, the Titans are actually paying more than they were under the old stadium. They have more responsibility to the new stadium than they did under the old stadium.
Yeah.
That kind of surprised me that got that.
That they have more or less. What was that?
The Titans have more obligations to the new stadium than they did to
the reason why there's a lot of reason to that. So say that we're talking about $5 billion. What's half of that? It's 2.5. We'd agree.
No, I'm just saying overall, their
here's what I'm talking.
I know is higher in the new one than the old one.
I understand that, but what I'm telling you is so that you know that for sure $2.5 billion is being paid for through revenue bonds that are issued by the city of Nashville. Now, what probably is the next group that's probably right there is some independent company, which would most likely, in my opinion, will probably be Oracle. To be honest with you, that's probably who's going to do it. But they're going to invest X amount of money where they can just label the building. Because
Nissan's already got it.
All right, so Nissan's already got it. The reason why I said Oracle, look where they're building it. It's right next to Oracle.
Yeah.
So I mean that would make sense. But let me finish.
Nashville is the city where you can be a losing team and still get big investments because they just announced some major renovations to Bridgestone Arena.
I'll be honest with you. I've been to a lot of arenas. Bridgestone is awesome.
It is, and they're going to be doing some big the
now. Are you a union electrician?
Out front is going away.
Are you a union electrician?
No.
Okay. Steven has left the chat.
Hey, low voltage in Tennessee is not a.
You're low voltage. I didn't know that's what you.
It's not under the electrical union in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And just a fun fact. So the Dolphins Stadium is owned now by Hard Rock, or their name's on it, which the Seminoles. That stadium.
Can you spell that for me real quick? Days names. Just days names. How would you spell that?
They've named their name.
Oh, their names.
Yes.
So what I heard was they's names. I heard that incorrectly.
You listen. It's like my man, y'all. So just take it easy, there, tough guy. We have hosted more Super Bowls than anybody. And speaking of revenue, so I probably won't live long enough to see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl.
No,
but Formula
One, that way with the Titans.
Yeah, Formula One had
and my team already told you the Chargers just said, "Fuck it, we're not going to be in the city anymore."
Yeah, we're no longer San Diego.
So Formula One had signed a 10-year contract to race there at the stadium, paid for it the whole 9. Year 4 came around and they upped their contract all the way to 2041. So it doesn't. Nice. The team that plays at the stadium, their home stadium, like you said, speaking of revenue, I don't think they give a shit whether the Dolphins win or lose because it hosts so many major events.
That's what I'm saying. Hosting all the events. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So when I say that the state or the city, and it may even be the state that might be involved, but when they issue these revenue bonds, what they're doing is they're saying we're going to gamble on CMA Fest. We're going to gamble on having Metallica here for 2 days or Taylor Swift for 5 days or whatever the fuck it was. Strangely enough, it rained on both of those tours on both days. But so that's funny. But maybe WrestleMania or something, like all these crazy things, right? So I mean, we already do the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life that I talked about last time is that Grand Prix racing through all of downtown and across the bridge and all this bullshit and back. And like they do 1,000 laps or whatever the hell. And I'm like, they're taking nobody takes Broad at 104 miles an hour. You know, that's not what you do. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's smart with the Formula One because this year,
Formula One,
probably next year, they're moving it out to the Nashville Super Speedway, which is way out of the city. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to benefit Nashville, but it's not going to benefit Nashville like it does when it's downtown. Because it's 30 miles out of the city. So a lot of the people are going to be booking their hotels in Murfreesboro and Lebanon. And
all right, real quick, let's have a quick talk about that. Wait a minute, real quick. This has come up more than once. You said something. I say Lebanon. We had this conversation before. Okay. Or me and Gino did. Somebody and I have had this conversation before. Yeah, maybe me and somebody else.
I've lived in Middle Tennessee since 1978. And I've lived outside of Lebanon since 1978. And in this area, it's pronounced Lebanon.
Okay,
you keep in mind, this is the same area that pronounces Lafayette.
No, that's already been. So that's already been one I've accepted, kind of, because there is a French connotation to it, and then there's a Southern thing to it, which would be an English. The closest linguistic to the Queen's proper English would be Southern, right? So when I look at that, I'm like, I try to even sound it out like you guys say it. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. All right.
Steven says I pronounce it correctly.
Yep.
Or
It all
so I guess,
depends.
Steven, you're in our
If you're
area.
talking about the country, it's Lebanon.
Well, why? It's spelled exactly the same.
No. So again,
Exactly.
we're talking
English
about,
is exactly the
talking
same.
about the country. I'll pronounce it Lebanon.
and,
But
and,
a
and
city,
I
a
would
town, it's
agree.
Lebanon.
I would agree that Tennessee
Real quick. So how
Town
do you say
should be pronounced Lebanon, but the way it's
Lebanon?
pronounced,
Enunciate that. It's
by-
Leb. So it's just like when I tell people my last name, they're all like,
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you on the technical pronunciation. What I'm going to say is you can tell people that have grown up in Middle Tennessee and in the Wilson County area specifically by them pronouncing it Lebanon. That's how it's been pronounced in this area forever.
It doesn't make it right. That's my point.
It's
just like Steven says.
Right. It's right from a local dialect.
Okay, but here, listen to this. So, like he says, whatever that is.
I mean, we can get Chuck on here and start talking about how they pronounce things up in Maryland.
Hold on a second. So, like, but right now we're talking about things you and I know. But like, how would you pronounce that word right there?
Oh, no, you don't know. You're from California,
right? It's because I know how to read, and I would say that not that word, but the correct.
I am
it's
not
Mount Juliet.
I'm not going to argue with you on the technicality.
Linguistics is fun.
We're talking about the local dialect. I grew up in this area, and I will revert back to.
So you do the whole monkey see, monkey do thing, right?
Oh,
what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Question for you.
For who?
Do you say you all?
Who, me? I say you guys.
No, it's y'all.
It's y'all.
It's y'all.
Up here.
Oh no, I would say so. If I seen that, like, so say I'm reading something in class, I'm like, hey, you guys. I'll either change it in my head. Hey, you guys, we'll do this, or I'll say, if it says y'all, I'll be like,
yeah, but
it's like
you're from California, but Jeff does y'all.
It's like
Up
if I
here,
go
it's
if you go in, if somebody asks you, do you want something to drink? I'm going to go, pick me up a Coke. That doesn't mean necessarily a Coca-Cola. That might be a root beer, might be a Sprite.
Why wouldn't you just say soda? So that way you can
say soda.
Because we don't say soda in Tennessee unless
and
we're from
if you was in Boston and you say, let me have a soda, they bring you seltzer water. If you want a Coke in Boston, you have to say pop.
Yep.
Well, if I would, real quick,
Exactly.
that's where I'm going with this. So, like, if I want a Coke, let's just say I want a Coke. All right. Don't ask me which kind of fucking Coke I want. I want a fucking Coke. All right. If I said, hey,
you've been in Tennessee long enough to know that ain't true.
I have been here long enough. Well, I mean, Steven got me on CBD.
Go ahead.
So.
Go ahead.
So listen, I guess it all depends on your locale.
We had to get to an hour and 9 minutes of our 1 hour.
A lot of stuff depends on your locale. So, I've told you guys this before. So of course I live in the city of Miami, but it's Miami. If you was to actually say it, it's Miami.
So how would you say Frankenbeans?
Pork and beans.
Okay, well, I heard what I wanted to hear.
Honestly, this to me, this is one of the fascinating things about living in America is how extremely wide variety of language we have in just one freaking country. It's
city to city.
Unbelievable.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Well, the city, yeah, that's for sure. I mean,
because so here in Miami, we have Little Havana, we have Little Haiti, we have Ghouls, and everybody speaks and things come out differently. Where I grew up in Liberty City, things are also very different. But the language could change as simply as you crossing over the tracks.
Yep.
Is it Jive?
So-
Hey,
please tell me it's Jive.
kind of
Please tell me.
going back to one thing about Florida. I got to know. You talked
It's
about
California cocksucker.
You talked about the difference between Broward County and in Miami. Which
I just
which
wanted to
county
hear
is
it was
Miami?
Jive. That's all I wanted to hear. I'm sorry.
No,
Which county is Miami?
Miami is so.
Dade County. That's Dade County.
Is a
Dade,
Dade
Dade.
County.
Dade County.
So, big question I have: where do you find more Florida men, Broward or Dade County?
So,
That's Tulai Crew.
so let me give you the things with that. They say Florida man, but a lot of the times that bullshit doesn't hold up because the person's really not from Florida. I'm not gonna say
But they're
Florida
in
doesn't.
Florida when they're doing it, so it counts.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. A lot of these motherfuckers are from. Let me chill out for a second. A lot of these dudes are from some other strange places.
Yeah, but they settled in Florida to do that shit.
Yep, they gravitated.
Yeah, because listen. So here's the thing. Florida's gonna Florida every day. We don't miss. But also, what you have to understand, there's a very big difference between South Florida and the rest of it. Some people will even curse you out. If I say I'm from Miami, I didn't say I was from Florida. I'm from Miami. They're two different things. And some people will argue with you and die on that hill that Miami and Florida are two different places, which they are.
Honestly, the little bit I've spent there, I can see that.
You know, it's a situation. Here's how Florida is. Why do we have deer in Key West? You know, but
By
it's
the way,
a real
a
thing.
very rare deer that you have to get like a tag for a long period of time waiting.
Well,
to kill it.
they're not even in Key West. They're on one of the islands between.
They're on the one that
Yeah.
islands, yeah, before
Exactly.
you get
Forget
there. But
which
that's all
island.
it's on there. But there's like,
I want to see one
400
sometime
maybe?
going through there.
Yeah.
but they're
Those are
little.
little
They're like
tiny
midget. They're like
Yeah,
midget.
they're
little
not
tiny
they're
red
not
deer, man.
they're not like
really
big
deer.
bucks or nothing like
They're
that.
Oh, no.
dwarf deer.
No, but they're unique.
Yeah,
And I could still eat it for brunch. Preston might be able to have it for like a cheap
Snack.
meal, a snack or something.
yeah. Florida Fish and Wild Game. I have.
See, by the way, Steven, if he's still on here, he got to witness Preston eat the other day.
so
And yeah, so just hear this out real quick. So we go to Edley's real quick. I just want to tell you about this. So it's a barbecue place.
I
I know
hope
that's
that guy gets
sacrilegious.
a very good job so he can afford his food bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has to pay those union dues, so that counteracts that.
No, not Steven. We're talking about my son.
No. I'm talking about your
Oh,
son.
Preston. Okay, sorry.
So Steven and I went to lunch with Preston. All right. So so I order my meal and I just get like an appetizer because I'm a grown up. That's what we do, at lunch. And so Preston comes there and he's like, what can I get then? I'm like, dude, I know you're gonna order 2 meals. Just do it. Just do it. So he got 2 half racks of ribs and a pound of brisket per plate, which came with 4 fucking sides. Yeah, that's exactly right. We were watching the old 49er or 96er from the great what was it called? Great Outdoors.
The Great
That show
Outdoors.
with
Yes.
Jim Candy.
Oh
and stuff.
yeah. Oh, God.
John Candy, yeah.
I got to
John
go watch
Candy.
that movie again.
Yeah.
But I mean, when his metabolism slows up, he's going to be so screwed.
Well, he works out so much. I mean, that's
I
kind of just what it
understand
is.
that, but
It's still
seriously, dude.
no.
damn.
When I was his age, I could eat like that, and I would stay like half the weight I am now, and wouldn't gain a pound. I can't touch what I could do back then.
No, not even
Metabolism.
close.
Slows way down.
Well,
But
we
hey, I have
haven't.
to say, seeing you post his adventure pics been neat.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
well. I mean, thank you. So I'm really proud of him. He did make it through the entire schooling curriculum,
Yay.
and he's on a full ride to Belmont. And how long does this video get out? But anyway, so
Hey,
I'm
be a
being-
proud dad. You deserve it.
And but anyway, so he's going there. I will be honest with you. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. He's 6'1" and a half, almost 6'2", about 230 pounds, and about 6%, 7% body fat. Super huge dude. Makes me look tiny. Like I've just given up at this point. I'm like, I'm just going to shoot you. If it goes bad, I'm just going to shoot you and claim self-defense. I can do that. I used to be a police officer. I can articulate all kinds of bullshit, right? You know, so like if I was up there in Minnesota, I'd have done a much better job at defending myself. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Anyway, so I'm super proud of him. He's a giant kid. He's a lovable little dude, and yes. And that's what's funny. I just said just then. I say he's a lovable little dude, and he's not. He's a ginormous freaking.
He's gonna be little to you forever.
Yeah, yeah. And and what's
God. I don't know. Yeah, that popped up right before mine.
That's true. We should be good. But anyway, hey, listen, it's been an hour and 16 minutes, which is pretty good. And we had a lot of views, so I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for being here. Like, love, subscribe, hit the notification buttons on, all that.
And if you're not in the VIP, hit Billy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he never answers his DMs.
No.
So it'd be much better if you just hit up Gino or Jeff. And Jeff may not
hit Billy up and get an answer like 2 months from now. It's like, what is this VIP he's talking about?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, all been fun, been real.
Be good to yourselves, gentlemen.
Yes.
Have a great and awesome week.
Love you, hate you.
Still Everybody,
guys.